Hello, hello, hello. I'm hoping that I'm live. I have a new camera. Yes, I do. And I'm hoping that it's going to be great for everybody. Let's see if you can see me. Let's see. I have to just check it out. Yep, you can. You can see me. I'm silent. Yep, and I'm silent here. Am I silent here? Hi, Bonnie. How are you, dear? Yep, I'm silent. Okay. So, I want to do this. Yes, we are going to do... Nope, I'm on the wrong way. Okay. We are going to have a great session. I know, I never come on Sundays, and I'm first up. So, I'm hoping that you guys are going to be happy about that. And it's going to be fun, fun, fun. Yes, it is. And if you can't hear me, I should really put this on to make sure you can hear me. Let's see. Yes, you can hear me. So that's a good thing too. So right now it is, let's see what we're doing here. There we go. Yes, it is. And hi, Melinda and Melissa. And we are going to have some serious fun this afternoon. We are. I don't multitask as well as I should. Never have multitasking really well. I have the tendency to hyperfocus. If I don't answer any of your questions, I promise I'll go back through them and I'll answer them. All right. We're going to do butterflies and leaves today. And it's going to be a great, great project. I'm really excited about it. You know, we're going to be fluttering around. All right. Now I have a new camera. So if there are any things that come up, you got to let me know.
Good evening, everyone. Hello there. It's Lori Weber.
Whoops. Not sure why it did that, but because I just wanted to be able to see your comments.
Way upstage.
Nope, it's not doing that. Okay. Let me try one other thing so I can see some comments, because the comments aren't showing up on here. You know, technology is not my strongest suit, but that's okay. Here we go. Now I have two of them up, and Cordy and Bonnie. Did I miss it at one? No, we're supposed to be on it too, dear. And Jan, Bev, thanks so much for coming by. You didn't miss anything, Bonnie. We start at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1 o'clock Central Time. The times that are posted on Online Market Spot are always on Central Time. So I'm working with a new camera, and I do have 2 different posts going now, so that's a good thing. And if there's something that you can't see or hear, just let me know. All right. So I'm gonna flip it down now. And why is it doing that? Okay, come on. You gotta flip for me. There we go. Did it flip? Nope, it flipped back up. It'll take me a little while, but I really like this camera, and some of the other girls use it, and they pretty much love it. So there's a lot of good time advantages to it that will benefit you guys a lot. There we go. All right, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. No, this way. And we're going to zoom in. Okay. Let me just check one more thing. Yes. Okay, here we go. All right. So, we're going to do some different things today. All right. We're going to use a few different brushes. There we go. You can see it. It's great. All right. All right. So let me just check one more thing, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this. And that way I can see exactly what you're seeing, and that's good. All right, so we're going to do a butterfly today with some leaves, and I wanted to introduce something that I just think is really cool. All right, there's a couple of brushes that I'm going to introduce today that are a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how to use them. One of them is a dagger to do leaves with, and we are going to do this beautiful butterfly. I have a fuzzy picture of it, so this is the butterfly we're going to do with some leaves. The leaves are not going to be in front, but they're going to be in the back. All right. I did base coat it with Chalky Finish Serene. If you don't have any Chalky Finish Serene, you can just use baby blue. You might want to add just a smidgen of warm white to it. And I'm going to mix up, a medium green, which is pine green and warm white. Okay. And I did dampen my brush a little bit. And nope, that's the wrong brush. I am going to dampen my brush a little bit. I have to tell you, we had this wonderful gathering last night that my husband and I planned. Wasn't even thinking, because I usually do Friday and signed up for Saturday. And but we had a wonderful time with a group of people. And so that's why I'm on Sunday. So I fully loaded my dagger. This is a 1/4 inch dagger. I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to barely put it up. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more green so you can really see what I'm doing. All right. So I'm just going to add a touch more green to it. There we go. And we're going to just put it up and lay it down and shape it. Look at that shape. It's just automatic. All right. And you just shape it like that. I'll even make it a little tiny bit darker on this one. Look at that. Okay. You just shape away. Here we go, right down here. And yes, I am getting used to this camera. I do think it's going to be great once I master it, but I might go off camera a little bit. And then there we go. Look at that. Isn't that great? Like, I freaking love this brush. Now, I have to tell you, it comes in 2 sizes. All right. And it's just wonderful. Now, see that? That's got a rounded bottom. I can just go in like that. Okay. Let's do a few more down here. Lay it down. Pull it up. Yep. Lay it down. Now, I want to remind everybody that I don't multitask super well. So if you're making comments, I'm probably not seeing them yet. All right, but I promise I will respond to them. All right, here we go. Look at that. And these are just in the background, and we kind of want to keep them in the background like that. All right. And I'm going to put another one right in here so it overlaps a little bit. There we go. All right. These are a little bit light, so I'm going to go over them again, and I'm not going to worry about it. Painting is not about worrying. We have enough to worry about. We don't need to worry about our painting. We just go in there and touch it up. Now, I want to show you a little trick, okay? I'm going to go in, add a little bit. I didn't clean off my brush. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to add a little bit more green, and I'm going to go straight up, and I have my stem, okay? And I can go like this and go straight up, and I have my stem. Okay, that's great. All right. Now, see this? The stem went over the leaf. You can leave it like that if you want, or you can go over it with a touch of green and just touch over it. Look at that. I love this brush. Don't you just love this brush? I'm going to show you something. All right, I'm going to try and show you something. All right, and hope I don't mess it up completely. All right, I'm gonna go back into here and I'm gonna, nope, didn't want to do that. What I do want to do is I want to go like this. Okay. And I'm going to go in like this. I'm going to flip over so I'm on the dull side of my palette paper. And I just want to show you this. Okay. Watch this. Here we go. Look at that. It's just like, oh, and it comes right to a really nice point. And I can go in like this on the edge of the brush and in like that. And look at it. It's just like lovely. Now I want to show you something else. Did I bring it out? This one's a big one. This one's a 1/2 inch. All right, we're going to go in here like this. All right. And we're going to go like this. Look at that on a bigger piece. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. Okay, like this. Flip the brush around and like this. And like this. Nice texture. All right. Oh, yeah, went off camera because I am pretty, look at that. Isn't that great? Like it's all done. It's all done. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to do some bigger ones. All right. Some bigger leaves. I have to like get rid of this. All right. I'm going to do some bigger leaves now. Okay. And, I'm going to base them using this big brush. All right. I'm going to go into the light. No, I have to roll back out. All right. And like I said, I'm getting used to this camera. So we're all going to be patient with me because technology isn't my strongest suit. You know, I've owned this camera for about 5 months and I just set it up. All right. So I'm going to go into the medium, the mix that I made. Okay. It was about 1 to 1. So, and then I'm going to tip into this. This is straight pine green. Okay. And I'm going to go in. This is with the 3/4. No, it's not. It's a 1/2 inch. It's not 3/4. I got beside myself. I'm going to come up like this. I'm going to come up like this. And it's already shaded on one side. See that? I'm a little bit more careful, I think, than with the bigger brush on the line work because it's a pretty big brush. All right. Now this leaf right here, we're going to come in and we're going to do this end of it first. With this brush, 1 stroke. I'm going to add a little bit more green. I'm going to come in like this. I'm going to come up like this. Just like that. And that's all one leaf. And see, you've already got some of your shading. And look at that nice line work. That nice edge. It's not line work, it's an edge. You know, it's Sunday, and I have to tell you, I was such a good girl last night, but we had fun. We had fun. All right? And that's great. Now, I'm going to go back in with my small one. I'm going to go into the mix, and I'm going to go into the green. And I am going to put in my line work here on the edge of my brush. All right? And we're good. All right. Now we're going to start our butterfly. I'm going to put the green aside. I might need it back. So I'm going to put it over here. Oh, right there. I'll put it right there. All right. And we're going to put out some orange and red. All right. And we're going to start with orange. No, we're not. We're going to start with red. Naphthol red. This is vermilion. All right. And I'm gonna paint messy, you know, I'm gonna paint messy. All right, so I think that's a little bit big. What is that? That's an 18. I don't want anything that big. All right, that's an 8. Come on, didn't I, what's this one? This one's a 12. Okay, that's gonna work good. And I'm going to double load it. Okay, so I'm gonna load one side red. All right, one side orange. I'm gonna blend it out on my palette, and I know it's a very slight difference. All right, and we're gonna come in like this against his little body, and then we're gonna come around. All right, we're gonna come out like that, and we're already giving him some texture. The red is against the body. Okay, I didn't go all the way to the edge. I'm gonna reload. This is a 12 shader. Okay, I'm gonna come in like this, and we're just gonna give them an edge just like that. All right, there we go. Okay, all right, again we're gonna double load. Now we're gonna come against his body. We're gonna come down against his body. This is the orange side, the vermilion side. Okay, we're gonna come from the outside edge. Now, if you notice, the vermilion is against the upper wing. We're working on the lower wing now. The vermilion is against the upper wing. And the edge of his body is not, the edge of his wing, he doesn't, not his body, but the edge of his wing is not perfect. We're not going to make it perfect. And we're going to keep the curvature of his wing going as we pull in. All right, there we go. And there's the other wing. I'm going to just check and make sure I'm not getting, that you guys are hearing everything I'm saying. All righty, yeah, I got to check in every once in a while on the other line, because when I tried to do it on my phone, it just didn't work. All right, so let me see why it did this. Nope. There we go. All right. Colleen, Maureen, you make it look so easy. Okay, Colleen, I know, but you just practice. I have to tell you a story now that you said that. I have to tell you guys a story. My granddaughter was painting with me, and she said the same thing to me. And I said to her, honey, you practice, practice, practice. And I gave her a drawing book, and I told her she needed to paint every day. She could paint, she didn't need to paint, she needed to draw every day. She could draw for 5 minutes or she could draw for an hour, but she needed to draw every day. It's all about practice. But I have to tell you what's more important than practicing, all right? What's more important than practicing is that we chill, okay? This is our time to chill. We're just gonna chill, 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 all right? This is our chill time. All right, so this is the upper wing. We're going to do the upper wing the same way, all right? So this part right here is darker, all right? So we're going to reload. We're double loading, okay? We're double loading our brush. We're going to come in against the body. Now, of course, I'm right-handed, so I'm working backwards. Now, I am going to flip it around. I'm upside down, okay? I needed to do that so I could do it. This is the orange side. This is the red side. We're going to go against the lower wing. We're going to make that area dark. And then we're going to come in and we're going to go like this. And we're just going to pull it so that every stroke that I do is going to count. All right. I know that sounds lazy, but it's true. That's what I think about. Every stroke that I do, I want it to count. So what's going to happen is and you want to keep the curvature of the wing and it's double loaded, and you've already got texture coming into that wing. All right, you've got texture coming into the wing, which is what you're looking for, and just pull it. The edges are a little important in the sense that you don't want them too messy, but they're messy. They're not messy. They're messy. Now see in here where it stopped? I'm just going to go over it, okay, so that it doesn't have a stop gap in the middle of the wing. All right, all right. There's the next wing. Now see this right here? There's a boo-boo. Not to worry. This is the red side of my brush. We're just going to go over that and give it a nice clean edge and just pull it. Okay? All right? Sometimes what we do is that we want things to be too perfect, and they're not perfect. This is the red side of my brush. We're going to come in like this. I'm going to put them upside down so I can work. All right, and we're going to go against his body just like that. And once again, we're going to pull it. This time though, when we're against the upper wing, we're going to turn it just a smidgen so that the area against that upper wing is the orange. Okay, this area in here was the red. This area in here is the orange. All right, and we come out to the edge and we pull the wing in. All right, and we're getting texture. Now this, because I wanted this to be solid, I pulled it, I didn't pull it quite as curvature as I wanted, so I'm going to overstroke it now. Excuse me. I'm going to overstroke it now. Orange towards the outside edge. All right, and we're just going to overstroke it. Okay. Now, see that gap stop right there? We're going to just overstroke it so that there's no stop in the middle. When you stop in the middle, you have to pull up on the pressure on your brush, okay? So you don't have a stop line. There we go. Look at him. He's getting there. Now, see this right here? This is off a little bit. I'm going to go and I'm going to tip my brush just a smidgen. And I'm going to just come down here like that. Okay, there we go. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do his body in orange. No, I'm not. I'm going to do his body in red. Sorry, made a boo-boo. And we're going to go in here with some red. I'm going to add a tiny touch of burnt sienna to it. All right. I want it to be a little bit darker, his body. So watch this. You go in here like this, and you're just going to add a tiny bit of burnt sienna. It's not dark enough. So it's probably 3 parts Naphthol red to 1 part burnt sienna, and that's going to make it darker, which is what I want, which is what it is. All right, and we're going to come in, and we're going to just base coat in his body. Okay? Just like that. Not to worry. All right. And now I'm going to drop down even more. What is this? This is a 6. I'm going to go to a 2. I'm going to take this mix and I'm going to do a little wiggle in here. It's just a little oval and another little dot on top. And don't worry about it. Most important thing is that you don't worry. No worrying. Okay? All right. Now we're going to put out some black. All right. Now his body is fuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy was the butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to put out some black, and I'm going to go into this little mix that we have going on here. I'm going to add some black to it, and I'm going to make a mess. And I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to fuzz it in, just like that. Just fuzz it in. Let's see if I can zoom in even more. Let's see what you're seeing. Yeah, I'm going to try zooming in a little bit more. Okay. So let's see if I can do that. There. Let's see what I got there. You don't want to go off though. There we go. See, and it's just a little bit fuzzy. We're going to come down like that. And it's not perfect. No, perfect. Black into this little mix with this, some naphthol red and some burnt sienna and a little black. And we're having fun. Remember that. We're having fun. We're not making everything perfect. And I have to tell you, if you saw this guy out in nature, he wouldn't be perfect. All right? Because that's not how the world works. There we go. Now, I'm going to clean my brush off a little bit, and I'm going to just pull it down and make a mess. All right? Pull it up and make a mess. Pull it down and make a mess. There we go. All right? And he's messy. He's messy. I'm going to add just a little bit more color there of that dark so that we keep that mess going on. All right? And then we're going to go up on the sides. And we're not going to worry. Up on the sides. I'm going to come around like this. Now, the other thing I want to tell you guys is that this video, all right, I know that we have some issues going on with videos disappearing, all right, but I will download this to my YouTube channel, and if you want a link, I'll give you a link, all right? It'll be on Online Market Spot for a while, all right? So, but you'll be able to look at it again and again. Now listen, I want to show you something. See this right here? When I lifted it and made it messy, it got a little too light. So we're just going to go in there with a little bit more color and add some more color to it and not worry about it. Okay, tap, tap, tap. A little bit more dark. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Look at that. And we're good to go. All right. Now I can't go over. No, I got lots of time. All right, now I'm going to take, do I want to do it with that? Yes, I want to do a couple of things here. I'm going to take my liner brush, okay? And I'm going to go into straight carbon black. All right. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to put some dots in here because that's what it does. The edges right there have his eyeballs. But then there's a lot of dark black dots. All right. Okay. Now, that's good. This area right on the end is going to be bright red. All right. Right here. Right. Bright red. Then I'm going to go into orange, which is vermilion. I'm going to flip them around so I can work it. And I'm going to just pull in a little pointer. Don't ask me what it is because I really didn't study that. All right. And let me see if I can zoom that in just a little bit. I am going to just do one little thing here and just go in with a touch more black right there. All right. Let's see if I can zoom it in even more. Like I said, I'm getting used to this camera. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you can see it. Let's see what you're seeing. Yep, you can. There we go. Okay, now, you ready? We're gonna, okay, now see, if you look at him, he's got some texture, okay, which is what I wanted. Oh, I just noticed this shouldn't be like this. See how this curves down like that? We don't want to do that. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of red and a little bit of orange. And we're just going to make that adjustment so he curves out. There we go. See? No worrying. Just adjust it. Okay, we're going to put some black in here. All right. Oh, we have to do one more thing before we put the markings on. Now, all right, we're going to do, yep, see? The old ADD is kicking in. All right, I'm going to go into red, and I'm going to go into burnt sienna. All right? And I'm going to mix them 1 to 1. I'm brush blending them, but I do recommend you mix them, okay? And you do want to do a separation. This is on top, this is underneath. So there's a slight shading that's got to go on right here, all right? And we don't want it heavy. We don't want it to be black. We just want it to be shaded. And if we need to add some more burnt sienna to it, we'll do that. All right. Soften it out by lifting up on the pressure on your brush. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now, I want to talk about the markings on a butterfly. Okay. The markings on a butterfly, first of all, change through the season, change through its life. Depending on its life is determined by the kind of butterfly it is. And it also is different for every butterfly. It's a little bit different. All right. So you need to not worry that your markings are exactly like my markings. They can be like your markings. All right. And they can be different. There's certain things you don't want to do. I mean, you don't want the marking to go straight across. We want the markings to stay in the contour of the butterfly's wings. But they don't have to match my markings. Your butterfly can have different markings. I'm going to come in. This is the water side of my brush. I've loaded with burnt sienna, and I'm going to come in and give a little shade against the body and then soften it out. Okay, I'm going to do that on both sides. This is burnt sienna. Okay, don't make it too dark. All right. Burnt sienna against his body. Okay, soften it out. Now there's a couple of spots in which I got a little too heavy when I was doing his shading between his wings, like right there. Okay, I'm going to go in with a little bit of vermilion, and I'm just going to soften that out. And see that? We're just going to soften it out. Not a lot of pressure on my brush, and it softened it right out. Okay? Hey, don't worry. The most important thing we have to remember is painting is a chill time. And there's nothing you can do that you can't fix. And just adjust it. And it's important to chill and relax and enjoy it. It's really about the journey. It's not about anything else. It's about the journey. Okay? And the more you chill, the better you're going to paint. That's just a reality. All right, I'm going to put some markings on him now. All right, and it's not important to me that my markings are exactly like the markings on the butterfly that I took a photograph of. I just want to put some markings on him, all right? I'm using a liner brush to start with. Oh, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to go in there with my dagger brush. Yes, I am, as I look at it. Okay, so I'm going to load my dagger brush. That's our leaf brush. We're going to come in, and remember, no matter what brush you're using, the more pressure you put on your brush, the more paint's going to come out. So I'm going to go pretty light in the beginning and then just push down and lift off. And push down and lift off. And push down and lift off. And push down and lift off. Okay? The bottom wings don't do that, okay? That's all right. I'm turning it to this side. I'm going to reload it. I'm loading with carbon black. I do kind of want to have the same on both sides because they kind of do that. They don't have to match exactly, but if I have 4 on this side, I'm going to have 4 on that side. Push down, and lift off. Push down and lift off, and push down and lift off. There we go. Okay, is that cool or what? I am going to take this dagger brush. I'm like falling in love with this brush. I'm like falling in love with it. It's like a very cool brush. All right, and we're going to go in like this, and we're not going to put a lot of pressure on my brush. And we're going to do that edge. Yep, I know. I tend to start talking soft. All right, not a lot of pressure on my brush, and I'm going to do that edge. All right. That edge didn't get quite as heavy as I'd like it to be, so I'm going to go in again, and I'm going to do it again. There we go. Look at that. There we go. Okay. Now I am chilling, okay? And I'm going to extend these down towards the body on the edge of the brush, keeping the contour going. There we go. I'm reloading my brush. I don't kind of like this one, so I'm going to do it again. Push down and lift off. There we go. All right, and I'm just keeping the edge of my brush just like that. Okay? Is that cool or what? Now I'm going to put some, with the dagger brush, I'm going to reload it, and I'm going to go just on the edge of the dagger brush, and I'm going to bring in a couple of lines at the very top of this wing. There we go. Okay. I think he's looking kind of cool. All right. Where the wing separates, I am going to go in with a tiny bit of black, and just right there, just a little tiny bit from the body out, probably a third of the way. There we go. Now the bottom is quite different. All right. I'm going to do the bottom with a liner brush. Oh, no. No. Yep. Yep. No, I'm going to use this. I'm just going to make them very short. And we're going to go in like this, and they're short. Short little hits. Short little hits. Just like that. I'm loving this brush. I am loving this brush. Short little hits, just like that. Short little hits. When I say short little hits, I don't pull it. I push down and lift off. Okay? Now, I am going to go in with a liner brush. All right? I'm going to load my liner brush. Make sure it's at a tip. And I'm going to connect those just like that. All right? I am going to go around the edge. This is only on the bottom one. And you can have more than I have for your little markings. These are markings. The markings are going to be different on every butterfly. Oh, I got to make sure. No, I'm good. I'm good. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. And we are just chilling. Remember, we're chilling. There we go. All right. Now he looks a little odd because he's not done. All right. Now we're going to go in and we're just going to put some spots in. I want you to see this. See? There's spots on them. And those spots are going to make a big difference. And we're not going to worry on where they are. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one up here. And they do match, sort of. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here. I want to see if they match. No, they don't necessarily match on the top wing. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the top wing. And we're going to put in some spots. Okay? And they're not perfectly round. Okay? Now, there we go. All right. I think that these are I'm gonna make these a little bit wider. I'm gonna do that with my liner brush. All right. I could go back in with my dagger, but I just have my liner brush in my hand. So I'm going to do this like this. I want these to be a little bit wider. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put, what is this? This is an art. I am going to put lightly touch down. All right, and I'm going to put some line work in on the bottom wing, just like that. On the bottom wing, just like that. Okay, and now we're going to go around and we're going to put some outer markings on the outside of the wings. All right, and you don't put a lot of pressure on your brush when you're doing this. All right, you don't want this line to be super heavy. You don't need a super fine line, but you don't want it to be super heavy either. All right. I am going to bring this, make sure you spin your brush between your finger and your thumb to make sure you have the edge that you want. All right. And I'm going to come in like this around the outside edge. This is all being done with carbon black. All right. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. I am going to put his wings on now. I put some water in my brush. Not his wings. We did his wings. We're going to do his little antennas. Okay, there's a bead of water on the end of my brush. I have to make sure I get that off. That would not be fun. All right, and we're going to come down and we're going to put his antenna on. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we can put a little tiny bit of warm white out on our palette. And we're going to do a little tiny bit of, we're going to do some more markings. I am going to put a little tiny bit of highlight into this antenna. There we go. And here we go. There we go. Now, all right, you ready? These markings are markings, okay? They're created in nature, so they're created by their environment. Don't worry that they're exactly like mine and just tap them in. Some of them are long, some of them are short, and don't worry. The most important thing is you don't worry, you chill out and have a good time. All right, and just put in some markings here and there. And yeah, sometimes I drag my brush and sometimes I put little dots in. Okay. Oh, I'm in good shape. We're going to have some time to do a few other little demos here. All right. What I am going to do is, there we go. I'm going to bring, since I have time, a little tiny bit more dimension into them, just because I think it'll be a good thing. Okay. I'm going to take my 8, if I have it handy. No, that's a 6. And that's not, what is that? No, do I have an 8? Yeah, that's an 8. There we go. I think he needs a little bit more dimension, so I'm going to very carefully go into black. And I am going to give him just a little bit more around his body, just a little bit more shading, okay? To bring his body out and push his wing back. There, I like that. That's good. I'm gonna, okay? Barely any paint on my brush. All right, barely any paint on my brush. All right. And we're gonna just barely any paint and barely touching down, okay? Pressure will release. The more pressure you put on your brush, the more paint will come out. There we go, look at that, okay? I'm gonna do that too here, in between the two. Barely any paint on my brush, okay? There we go. All right, now the bottom, I am gonna put in some streaks of this black to push the bottom back just a little bit, the bottom wing. All right, and then up in here, I'm gonna put out some Hansa yellow. I was supposed to put an apron on. You know, I wreck so much of my clothes. I just get involved in my painting. All right, I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna brush blend in some Hansa yellow into my orange. And I'm gonna put in some streaks of this up in here on the outside edge. Just like that. Now you gotta be able to see what I'm doing. All right. Give them a little bit more punch. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. There's not a lot of paint. We're just tinting. Okay. And a little bit like that. Now I want you to remember something, and that is that acrylics dry an entire value darker. All right, I don't know what that is. There we go. All right, that's good. All right, now I am going to, since I have some time, we're going to put out some pine green. And I want you to remember something, and that is that graphite and pencil marks, once they get wet, will become unmovable. You won't be able to get them off. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to take out my pencil marks before I work on the background a little bit. All right. All right, I'm going to take my liner brush. I think I have some liner brush left. I do. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna go in and this is with a liner brush. I added a little bit of green to my mix, which was basically 1:1. So it's a little bit darker. I'm gonna come in like this. And I'm gonna finish off my line work. I gotta make sure I don't go over, but I have time. There we go. We're going to cross this over like this. This is in nature. All right. So it means it's not perfect. We're going to come in like this. Come down like this. Cross this over. All right. I want these to go off the edge too. All right. Now, I am going to take my 8, if I can find it. Here's my 8. I'm going to side load my 8, and I'm going to give this edge right here just a little bit more shading. on the edge of this leaf. Soften it out. Just like that. And like that. Okay. And then, I don't know what this, we're gonna, we can go in and we can add a little bit more shading to some of these leaves just to give them a little bit more dimension. I love the way that dagger brush shapes those leaves. Isn't it great? Just like that. You want the leaves to be attached to the stems. They don't float. They don't do good floating in air. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I think that we're going to go in and we're going to take a big brush. Not too big. What size is this? This is 12. And we are going to add a few areas of darkness around the butterfly. So we're just going to go in like this and soften it out. And this is just a float. Okay, and if the word bothers you, just smush the paint around. I can remember I was teaching up. Now see what that does? The butterfly just pops right out. Okay, I was teaching up in Portland and they couldn't stand the word float. So I said, okay, we won't do any floating. We won't do any floating this weekend. We'll just smush the paint around. Okay? Just do a little smushing here and there. Yep. It doesn't bother me to have paint on my hand, but you know what? I really don't want to get paint all over my piece. So we're going to add a little dark up in here. Turn off on your brush. There we go. I'm going to keep the dark on this side. All right. There we go. Then I'm going to add a tiny bit of Hansa yellow to some pine green, and I'm going to put a little bit of light in over on this side. Okay, a little bit of light on this side. There we go. Just because I think it's a good idea. All right. I can take some of this light and put a little highlight right there on that leaf because I think that's a good idea. Okay. I don't want to highlight the small leaves. There, we want to keep them in the background and put a little highlight right there. Now we're gonna, yep, I'm walking around. I'm gonna take a little bit of Prussian blue, okay? Because I really don't want this to be black. And I am just going to very carefully, all right, go into my Prussian blue, blend it out on my palette, and barely touch down and intensify just a little bit on this side. See that? Now, I want to show you something because a little bit got on the leaf. Not going to worry about it, and I'm just going to go over it like that. little bit of Prussian blue. There we go. I'm kind of liking that. Now, blue is the opposite of orange. So it really makes it pop. It makes them pop. I want gradual movement of color, so I'm just going to slip slop it out. See? Slip slop it out. Here we go. Clean my brush off and soften it out. Now we have a great day here coming up. Linda Shaw's coming up after me. I'll be on tonight with some great stuff. You know, I have great brushes. And, well, you got to be able to see what I'm doing. I have some great brushes. I have great kits. I have some great classes coming up. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. I'll be on at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central Time. All right. We're just putting some of this in here and there. This Prussian blue, a lot of water, softening it out. And that's good. Okay. Here we go. All right, and I don't want a lot of blue down in here. I'll put a little bit just because we don't want it to be totally different. But I don't want a lot of it down in there. There we go. All right, now I do want to reinforce a little bit of the highlight and a little bit of the shading. Okay, because two of the leaves I want to be pretty important. I'm going to do that with an 8, some Hansa yellow. We're going to reinforce the highlight on this leaf right here. There we go. And we're going to reinforce the highlight right here on this leaf. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of highlight on the edge here at the top of this leaf. And I'm going to put in some pine green on this leaf too, on the base. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. I'm going to, where did it go? I don't know what I did with it. Oh, it's right in front of me.